Well, hey there, everyone. Welcome back to this video. As you could see, this is me trying out this cologne that I made, and I feel like it was not the worst.
Hell yeah.
But that's not why I'm making this video. I'm making this video because I wanted to try that turning one thing into a painting again. And in the last video, I thought I did okay with the New Year's Day by YouTube, but I wanted to try it and be a little more thorough with it. So in this video, instead of a song being turned into a painting, it's actually that cologne I made. So this is a little step-by-step of what you're going to see. So that initial layer that you saw was kind of what I saw in my head when I got that whiff of that just initial, okay, this is what it feels like, this is what it smells like, and these are just the splotches and the colors that came to mind. So it was a lot of rustic, brown, ochreish, and a lot of pink as well. And I'll get into that in a little bit. But then when that was done, I was like, well, shoot, that's the whole video. It's not really entertaining. So I decided to go a little bit further with it, and I decided to do layers for every ingredient I put in there. And thankfully, there were really only three, and I'm not including the alcohol portion of it. I am really talking about just the three notes, I guess, or the three oils that I used to make this guy a reality. So all those browns and grays and whatnot, that is the tobacco layer. So that's kind of what I think of when I see tobacco, even though it looks like, well, let's call it how it is, smeared shit. Uh, it's, that's just what comes to mind. I guess that's if I have synesthesia. According to that, tobacco looks like smeared shit, and it's just as healthy for you. So there's that. And this layer that you're seeing right now, that sea green, teal, turquoise, that kind of look, that was supposed to be the patchouli layer, because that was the second ingredient. Now, I know patchouli does not necessarily look like that in real life. Again, this is just kind of what I see when I associate or think about or smell these ingredients. And these are the things that show up in my head, all kind of layered on top of one another. But when I was doing some research, from what I remember, patchouli is in the same family as mint. And mint, that's like a very, very clear and apparent image in my mind, which is that, kind of minty greenish look with, some bold, highlighted, vein type of things showing up in those streams. So that's where that patchouli layer is coming from. And then I believe, let's see, because this is kind of real-time commentary, that third and final layer, which I think we're on right now, that's the teakwood layer. And so with teakwood, I always saw it as like a very strong, very sturdy kind of wood. And especially when, it's compared to the other ingredients, which are, a distant relative of mint and a leaf, it's going to look a lot sturdier than ever. So I used I really wanted to use a lot of bold but muted colors, bold strokes but muted colors, which is why you get that pairing of kind of the gunmetal gray with the drips of sky blue. And I think I did that just for the sake of texture, just to kind of spice it up a little bit. And that was kind of it in a nutshell. But I was thinking about this too. Mainly, why would I choose to do this painting digitally instead of physically, like my first painting? And there's a few reasons for that. I think the first one was, frankly, it's cheaper. I really want to keep doing this, and thankfully, there was somebody in the comments section of the last video who really helped me, who really helped encourage me in my artistic journey just to kind of keep going and to keep pursuing it, which that's the whole reason why I'm making this video too, and the future ones, just the courage to keep going. So I really wanted to continue with this skill set, if you can call it that, or this hobby, Um, but I wanted to figure out how to do it without breaking the bank. And so I figured, well, I only have a certain amount or a limited amount of colors accessible to me, but I have the iPhone app version of Procreate, and I have a stylus pen, and I have go-to coffee shops that I like hanging out in. So that was kind of a match made in heaven, which kind of leads me to the second thing. If I can't afford physical paints, or if I can afford a certain hobby to do it over and over and over again, just use what you have, which in this case is an app that I believe I had already bought because I think Procreate costs money. So, that was accessible to me. That was immediately available to me. I had already bought a stylus pen. So, it's just kind of like use what you have. And I think thirdly, are we on thirdly right now? Thirdly, I really like the idea of using the medium in its own way, right? So with acrylic paints, you need to use, or you should at least use, acrylic paints to its advantage, or, using what makes it unique to its advantage. And I wanted to apply that same thing with Procreate. How can I use digital painting to its advantage in a way that makes the painting unique? And I couldn't do it in any other format. Like, you couldn't recreate. I wanted to do it in a way where I couldn't recreate this painting with gouache or watercolor or crayons or anything else. I wanted it to be unique to the medium that I was using. And one of the reasons for that was the layers, which you're actually looking at right now. This is me experimenting with which layer looks better from a composition standpoint in the foreground, in the background, in front of the other, and just kind of exploring that realm, which you can't do in acrylic. You can't take apart, you can't take apart, the smeared shit aspect of your painting and put it in front like you can with this. You know, you. So this is something that I was really happy with exploring and making it unique instead of feeling like I was, doing it because I was cheap or doing it because I was looking for, an easy way out, which, I mean, come to think of it, is really not true. This is something, if I wanted the easy way out, I would have never done this. And this was also kind of a good exercise in resilience, too. So, I mean, look, when you're on YouTube as a creator instead of a consumer, you're going to get backlash in some degree, in some way, shape, or form. And I remember the mindset that I was in when I was doing the voiceover for the previous painting, where I had gotten a lot of backlash and a lot of flack for some other videos I made. So I wasn't in a good headspace when I was recording that. But with this, I was really happy that I could kind of pursue this a little bit better and pursue it a little bit further. And as a result, you get this little painting. So I hope you enjoyed it, and stick around for the next one.